Stonington Public Schools, and in particular my elementary friends. I'm Masterjoseph, Superintendent of Schools, and I'm coming to you today with a huge thank you for participating in my Superintendent's We Are Stonington Public Schools poster contest. You can see the colorful examples that are behind me on the wall, and today I'm here because I want to be able to give special thanks to classrooms who've participated. So let's begin. So here's our first entry. It's from Mrs. Ryder's class, and it is We Are Stonington Public Schools. What I love about this particular poster is that there are a couple of sayings which I think are a great reflection of our district. We are a team of helpers, we are a community of friends and hard workers, and we're a group of kind people who try our best. Thank you so much to Mrs. Ryder's class. The next poster I'd like to spotlight comes to us as a result of our elementary art students. It says, We Are Stonington Public Schools Young Artists, and what I love about this poster created by Mrs. Julius on behalf of the young artists is that it shows pictures of our students participating in a wide variety of painting and drawing activities, and they just look as though they are filled with joy. Thank you to Mrs. Julius. There are two posters that come to us from Dean's Mills School, grade 2, and what I loved about these were that they highlighted special areas of content and learning that are taking place at those schools. This particular poster talks about some science work that's involved in this program, and it talks about all of the different ways that students actually work as scientists, whether it's questioning or predicting and hypothesizing or exploring and making connections. So thank you so much, grade 2, Dean's Mills School. Fabulous poster. The second one that comes to us from second grade at Dean's Mills School talks about how the school is a great place to learn. And I love the verbs that are on this poster in addition to the beautiful pictures of students. I love to hear that students are involved in activities that require communicating and managing time and negotiating and analyzing and expressing. And I just think this is a great example of the kinds of things that we hope students will be involved with in their classrooms every single day. Great job, Dean's Mills School, grade 2. This next super colorful poster comes to us from first grade at Dean's Mills School, where they talk about being a bushel of learning. And what I love about this poster is that they use the illustration of the tree and the baskets and the apple that's fallen from the tree to talk about all of the different kinds of activities they participate in, which might have to do with publishing their writing or shared reading or word study or writing workshop. I just love how colorful this poster is. Thank you so much, first grade at Dean's Mills School. This next super colorful poster comes to us from Miss Bronson's class in first grade at West Vine Street School. What I like about this poster is that it looks as though many students in the class participated and shared the things that they loved best about Stonington Public Schools. I read statements like, I like gym, I like to play, I like reading, I like math, I like books, I like writing books. So happy to hear that the first graders in Mrs. Bronson's class at West Vine Street School have so many things that they love about coming to school. This next super fun poster comes to us from the Central Office Integrated Preschool. This is Mrs. Payne's class, and she has created an underwater adventure that shows pictures of her students participating in all of the different fun activities associated with preschool. I see a student in the pumpkin patch, I see some students working at a table, I see some students enjoying the great outdoors, I see some folks working at the water center. Thank you, Mrs. Payne, and your Central Office Integrated Preschool. Love the underwater theme. This next poster comes to us from Miss Christian's fourth grade class at Dean's Mills School. I love that this poster is completely hand done, and I also love the fact that there are lots of illustrations on the poster that I'm guessing are directly taken from some of the books that students in this class love. I see a picture of Clifford, and I see some other characters. I also see names of lots of different activities that students enjoy, and although the ribbon seems to be covering it, I see at the bottom that DMS rocks. Well, thanks, Mrs. Christian, and your fourth grade class. This next poster comes to us also from Dean's Mill School, but this time from Mrs. Lance's class. They say, "We are Stonington Public Schools." And I love how each of the pictures here has thought bubbles popping up on top of students' heads. So for example, above one student, I read, "I like to use materials to test out experiments. I learned that some birds only drink nectar." And the other student in that same photo is saying, "I like working with a partner because we share ideas to help figure out the answers. My partner and I found that all birds eat food." I just love this poster, and I love all of the thinking that's obviously going on in Mrs. Lance's class. This next poster comes to us from Mrs. Collette's first grade class at West Vine Street School, and they say very proudly, "We are Stonington Public Schools." This, I believe, is the only poster I received that spotlights every single student in the class. I just love how everybody created a depiction of themselves. I particularly love the hairstyles, Mrs. Collette. Great poster. Thank you so much. This next poster screams, "We are SPS," and I think it's fantastic. This poster comes to us from Mrs. Lube's class at West Broad Street School, and they talk about how they are mesmerized by exciting stories, that sorting is fun, that they love getting better at typing, that they listen to their classmates and share, and that they work hard. Fantastic job, Mrs. Lube's class. This next poster comes to us from West Vine Street School, Grade 2. We are Stonington Public Schools, and this one is probably the poster that has the most images on it. I love having the opportunity to look and see what your students are involved in. We learn best when we write about something that we have made. We learn that if we use different ways to gather information. We learn best when we work with other students. We learn best when we have time to think about our ideas. Sounds as though there's a lot of students learn best when being put into action at West Vine Street School in Grade 2. Thank you so much. This next poster, which shouts, "We're learning and growing in Stonington Public Schools," comes to us from Mrs. Michelli's class at West Broad. This poster has a lot of great quotes from all of the students in the class. I particularly like the way that different students have expressed themselves so clearly. For example, Jake says, "I've learned not to cut in front of people in line because other people do not like it. When I'm an adult, I will know it's important to be respectful of other people." Nice job, Jake. Another example has Evan saying, "In school, I have learned the words to patriotic songs and how to stand politely when I say the Pledge of Allegiance. When I'm a grown-up, I will know to respect America and I'll be a good citizen." Well, thank you to Jake and to Evan and to all of the other students in the class. I know that you're putting that good learning into practice every single day. This next poster comes to us from Mrs. Southard's class at West Vine Street School, where they're talking about the things we like best at SPS. I love the black and white photography that's a part of this poster, and I also love the fact that the student writing here is looking so neat and spiffy. I can tell that these students have been working very hard on their penmanship. Some of the writing on the poster says, "I like SPS. I like gym. What I like about gym is that I get to do running. I love to write sentences. It is my very favorite thing about school this year. I wrote sentences all my life, even, especially, everywhere, even at home." Well, thanks, Mrs. Southard's class. Keep up the good work. This next poster comes to us from Grade 1 and Mrs. Gomes, and I love how there is an illustration for every student in her class. Each one seems to be showing them doing something that they especially love. So I see a student participating in art. I see a student who is performing at a microphone. I see lots and lots of activities, and some of them even indicate to me what these students might like to be when they grow up. I see even one student wants to be a zookeeper. Very exciting, Mrs. Gomes' class. Thank you so much. This entry comes to us directly from West Broad Street School and specifically from Mrs. Enoch's class. Thank you so much. At West Broad Street School, they have a theme that's called "Peace Begins With Me." And what I like about this poster is that they've used it as an opportunity to celebrate their work in the Pennies for Peace program. in which students are collecting and counting coins, and then donations are made, and I just think that that's a terrific activity. So boys and girls, as you can see, Stonington Public Schools is filled with color and action, and thanks to you, these posters are going to appear in all kinds of places around our community. I encourage you to try to spot them at spots like the library, at the supermarket, at town hall. You never know where you're going to run into one of these posters. Let me know if you see them. I'm sure you'll be happy and surprised when you do. So that's all for my video thank you note. I really appreciate your participation. We are Stonington Public Schools. Bye.